So in Boruto chapter 64, at the end of the chapter, we ended up seeing Boruto sort of hunched over and in a lot of pain. And it seems that because of something with either his new Momoshiki form or potentially the pills that he's been taking, that it's been taking quite a toll on his body. Now with this scene, we can kind of see him sort of like grasping his heart, and it seems like whatever is going on is making his body break down in a way, and he's having some bad side effect to where it could possibly be affecting his breathing, or it could maybe be some sort of like stroke or any other condition like that. And you know, when I did the chapter review, I kind of said that, you know, it could be something with the pills or it could be something with this form in general, just because of how new the form is, and I don't think that Boruto has had enough time to even get used to the form and get used to how the form functions. But I think that with this new form and kind of how Boruto's been handling this whole Momoshiki thing, that a large majority of it may actually be both things, to where it's not necessarily just one or the other. It could be the pills and the fact that Boruto has this new form that he doesn't know how to control. So the thing with the pills is that Amado did say that there could be some side effects, and when Naruto was giving Boruto the pills, he said, hey, you might want to be careful about these. You know, we don't know exactly what they do, but there's a possibility that they might be slowing down the karma progression and Momoshiki won't take you over. So, you know, Boruto heard that, but he still decided that he wants to take these pills and, you know, take the risk of not being taken over by Momoshiki, which could have actually been one of the worst ideas that he's ever had. Now, Boruto is stuck in this weird predicament to where you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't, right? He either takes these pills, takes a chance that they won't kill him, but they'll slow down Momoshiki's karma progression, or he doesn't take these pills and Momoshiki eventually takes him over and he ends up dying regardless, right? So in Boruto's case, I understand where he's coming from, to where he's out of options, right? He's either take these pills or I just wait till Momoshiki takes me over and goes crazy, right? So Boruto really had no other options when it came to these pills, and the fact that we don't really know what the side effects of these pills are is very concerning. And I want to talk about how these pills were originally made to combat Jigen / Ashiki. Amado said that he made these pills for Ashiki because he wanted to weaken Ashiki, and that would have been an easier way to overthrow him. So pills that were being used to sort of weaken / overthrow Ashiki are now being used on Boruto. So that's a little concerning there as well, because you're giving these pills that aren't necessarily good, in the sense that they weren't designed to be something that was supposed to help you. They were designed to sort of weaken somebody else. So that's another concerning thing, to where these pills aren't even being used for the right purpose. And Amado's kind of just like, hey, maybe it could work for the karma progression too, because I kind of made them to weaken the Byakugan, but hey, maybe if you just use these pills, then we'll see what happens and we'll see if you die or not, right? So, you know, just in that aspect, that's kind of one of the reasons why the pills are so dangerous in the first place, and to why potentially the reason to why Boruto is now clutching his heart, because hey, these pills are not supposed to be helping you. It's supposed to be actually doing damage to your body. And, you know, we'll kind of figure out what's going to happen with that, you know, this next chapter. But yeah, I really do think that these pills are sort of like suppressing Momoshiki's personality, and that's kind of why this form is coming out. But, you know, with that comes some very negative side effects. Now, this form is very interesting because I think with this form and the power boost that it gives Boruto, that I don't think Boruto's body can necessarily handle just the sheer power of this form. You know, when Boruto was in the Borushiki form at other times, I think that he didn't necessarily exert himself all the time because Momoshiki didn't want Boruto to sort of take back over his body. But now that Boruto is in full control of this Momoshiki like state, it is a little weird, because he's like, hey, you know, he's going up against Code, and I guess they're technically throwing blows back and forth, and Boruto's trying to keep up with Code, and Code is this inner car member supposed to be like crazy strong. And I just wonder if that Boruto not being used to this form and Boruto going all out is going to put a unnecessary toll on his body, to where Boruto in the future, if he doesn't know how to like control this form or control the power that comes from this form, then he's going to end up having things like this happen, to where he's passed out on the ground clutching his heart. Now, in terms of power, without even diving into the topic of power scaling, obviously the Borushiki like state is leagues ahead of anything that we've seen so far in Boruto, and there's not really that many people that can compare to that form. So Boruto getting such a huge power gap without any sort of training, any sort of anything like that could really damage his body, because Boruto is now having to control this Otsutsuki-like state just a couple of days or a week or so after they just fought the Shiki Otsutsuki. So there's not really a lot of time that's happening between these fights, right? We literally just got done with the Ashiki arc, and we're now jumping over to this Code arc, and Boruto is already being able to control this new Momoshiki form is a bad idea, because just because you get a huge jump in power doesn't mean that there aren't going to be negative consequences that come with that. And I think just for now, Boruto just does not need to be in that form, because him exerting all that power could end up in other situations just like this. So, moving on, I think that they honestly need to find out another way to sort of combat this Momoshiki karma progression, because in my opinion, these pills that they're taking for Boruto, I don't think that those are good enough for Boruto, and I think it's highly experimental. Either that they need to figure out some sort of way to develop a new medicine to sort of combat that, or they need to contact some other scientists like Orochimaru, sort of figure out what to do. Or we can go back to my idea to where back when they came back from the Ashiki fight, to where Boruto just has to sort of stick it out and use Kawaki's plan to where he uses another vessel to resurrect in that way. When Momoshiki eventually takes over, Boruto could end up living, because at the rate it's going right now, it honestly seems like Kawaki's idea of Boruto using someone as a vessel is actually the best idea that they have, because all the other options that they have, the pills or waiting it out for Momoshiki to take over and Boruto dying, they're just not necessarily the best options, because they're just so risky. But I feel like with Kawaki's plan and resurrecting another person's body, that Boruto actually has a decent chance of living, and he wouldn't have to worry about the negative side effects of these pills, because he'll resurrect in someone else's body. Now, they're originally going to use Code, so potentially if Boruto decides to use that idea, then he'll use it against Code in this fight. There could also be other cases where other people end up getting the karma still put on them and Boruto uses them as a vessel. But overall, it's just that these pills and this form, I think together is just a bad combination. And with these pills too, I also do wonder if that sort of the Byakugan suppressing pills could cause another reaction to happen inside Boruto's body, to where he potentially unlocks the Jogan. I've been talking about this a lot in my videos, that I think that the combination of these pills or something along those lines is going to cause the Jogan to sort of pop up in the manga for the first time, and that suppressing Momoshiki's personality enough could force that to sort of pop up in the story. Now, the thing with Boruto is that we're still sort of wondering about that scar, kind of still don't really know where he gets it from, and I honestly think it could be in this fight, because I think that this might be the last arc before the time skip, and I think that Boruto would get this before the time skip. But I think we're gonna have another case to where we see Boruto on the ground. Boruto's gonna go off screen for a couple of minutes after Naruto and the team arrives, and then there's gonna be some sort of instance to where, just like in that original Ashiki fight, Boruto randomly comes back and does something, and I think that's to where we'll actually see Boruto get a scar. Very interesting from that perspective. I do think that Amado does need to give us a little more information about these Byakugan suppressing pills. I think that Amado has been very misleading, in terms of what these pills can do, and that these pills are a lot more dangerous than he's letting on, because pills designed to weaken an Otsutsuki being given to somebody to suppress the karma cell just does not make any sense, and that Amado is going to end up doing more harm than good if Boruto continues taking these pills. Like I said again, maybe we call up some other scientists like Orochimaru who could potentially provide more insight on things like this, because with Orochimaru's research and the curse mark cell and just there's years of research just throughout the story, there's no one better than Orochimaru to sort of help out with this problem. But I don't think they're going to bring Orochimaru into the story anytime soon, unless it has something to do with Mitsuki or whatever. But it's kind of like my thoughts on Boruto impending fate, and it's turning to a point to where Boruto's death could be coming very soon if he doesn't find a solution very soon. It's either you wait this out like a G, let Momoshiki take your body over and you die, or someone kills Boruto before Momoshiki comes out, or Boruto continues taking these pills and ends up having some bad side effects from that also, or he ends up using someone else as a vessel. So there's a lot of possibilities that could happen with Boruto using these pills, and a lot of them don't end up with a happy ending. So the story's gonna get dark very soon, and Boruto is slowly running out of options. But hey, that's all I got for you guys today. Let me know what you guys think about it. Do you guys think that these pills are sort of affecting Boruto's well-being, or do you think that the form is too much for Boruto to handle right now and that he's going to have issues with the form in the future? Anyways, let me know what you guys think about it. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and join the Discord, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.